Mr. Sanjay Kumar Singh is an alumni of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Delhi, with Masters in International Trade. He has been heading Yamaha Motor Solutions India for 15 years as its managing director. With over 30 years of working and a career spanning at every level of corporate ladder in IT, he has spent more than 25 years working in Japanese companies. A master of 360-degree business experience from mobilizing various offshore and on-site projects since 1998 to handling various crises, he created a startup as Global Capability Center of Yamaha Motor Japan in 2002. He has, as a GCC, Yamaha has branch offices in Australia, New Zealand, and it operates in more than 25 countries to support Yamaha business operations. He's closely working for Yamaha new venture development on emerging technology of AI, machine language, robotics, unmanned guided vehicle, and mobility as a service. A very interesting aspect of his personality is also he's a philanthropist. He's supporting education and skill development for the underprivileged students with the help of various NGOs. Also working on environmentalism, has carried out massive tree plantation by planting more than 3,000 trees and still has to achieve a target of planting 10,000 trees by 2025. We welcome you, Mr. Sanjay Singh. Ma'am, would you like to say something, or should I?
I think Shikha would start the session because students are eager to listen to him.
Right,
so,
right.
I also would love to listen to his thoughts. So we'll continue. And Sanjay ji, welcome on this forum, or rather virtual forum. And we would eager to listen from you. And corporate expectations from budding managers is the topic today. So these are the students of our fresh batch, the incoming batch of PGDM 2022. So over to you, Sanjay ji.
Vidya ji, thank you so much. Shikha, thanks for the introduction and thank you for the kind courtesies. We have been associated with ITS for quite a huge number of years now. And I remember our association for the last almost 15 years back, we had our first employee who was hired from your institute, and he still works with us. And since then, we are having a long association. So I must compliment you for running a great institution and building the career and shaping the career of the young budding managers. We have had a very good experience, and I think you have a very good staff member, and the educational qualities are very good, which we can recognize. And we have been able to retain, or we wish to retain, the members who have actually come from ITS. So first of all, I think my congratulations for you. My congratulations to the younger batch who has just come up for the orientation session. Students, first of all, my best wishes and my blessings that you do well. But I don't want to keep my session giving you a lot of gyan, because I have my children coming up almost at your age. Maybe a little couple of years younger than you, but both the children, my daughter is in the final year and my son is in second year. So you can well imagine, subah se sham tak, you must be getting gyan from your parents, from your neighbors, from your friends of your father, from your professors. So I would not like to share much of a gyan. So first of all, let me share some very small things about my own life as to how I have seen it. And then you would not have the kind of the fear that might go around while you are completing or starting your post-graduation, undergraduation programs. I am not very sure, but this is an orientation for the post-graduation diploma management program. So you have already seen one stage, cleared the undergrad, and you are coming to the next stage. You have a lot of expectation from the corporate world. But let me just share a small story from how I started my career, which will completely give you another perspective of seeing life, how it is. I was born and brought up in a very small town in Jharkhand, while it was Bihar. And I did my basic education in this small town. And then somehow, fortunately, I moved on for my higher secondary education to Delhi. And then the story goes on. So first of all, I was born and brought up in a little average or a higher average middle class family in a very small town. I had my goosebumps talking to people, and English was never my native language. So whatever English that you would listen from me, I am not a very good speaker or an orator, but whatever that you listen to me, I think it's all thanks to whatever I would have picked up during my career. I did participate, but then I think at that time it wasn't even that better. So first of all, do not have any kind of inhibitions that life doesn't give you a chance. Life gives you a chance almost every day. Life gives you a chance at every nook and corner of your milestones. And you just have to recognize and pick it up. And you will recognize, इसमें कुछ छुपा हुआ नहीं रहता है. आपको खुद ब खुद महसूस होता है और आप पिक कर लेते हैं. Then the second part, I did my studies. I think Shikha has read my profile, so I would not go to touch my profile part of it. But interestingly, दूसरी बात, जब मुझे पहली नौकरी मिली थी, तो मेरी तनख्वाह मेरे ऑफिस के पियोन से भी कम था. But I never, I didn't cry at that time कि मेरी तनख्वाह उससे कम है. But then I was hoping to build my career and take it up to a level. Of course, I did not know that I will achieve whatever milestones that I have achieved, but this world is very small and you are just a tiny part of it. And the moment you see amongst people of your side, you will find a lot of people doing better than you, not better than you, same as you, but how does it make a difference? The most important thing is you be a good human being. I think in the past session, somebody asked this question, tips of becoming a good manager. Now, I have been heading an organization, and in my career, I was hiring and working with people, maybe in my own peer level, maybe up to 3,000 to 4,000 people. And that is number that I would have hired in my own tenure in different levels when I would have been working with. I haven't learned any such tip to become a good manager. I think the only tip that I can tell you is just be a good human being. Actually, especially the HR people, they talk about what kind of resources that you would like to hire in an organization. There are two parts of it. The number one, the part is how well you have done. Of course, I think your institution is far better and they will give you the best. So by the time you clear your course, you would be at the line where you have to just kickstart your career. You don't have to worry about things where your background is good, your education level is good, your knowledge, basic knowledge is good. You would have attained all these things and you would not have a problem. Of course, you will have to come up to that level. You cannot leave or you cannot take education very lightly. Of course, you have to, people have their basic benchmark, but there is another aspect of it, and which I think is much more important, because in an organization, which is always in a shape of a pyramid, when we all joined, when I joined, I said, I was just a trainee, and as a trainee, I was getting salary, which was less than a peon. That means we were those bulk at the bottom of the pyramid who were fighting on the corporate ladder to reach up. And finally, when the pyramid reaches a cone at the top, there is only one person. How do you differentiate? Is there a tip for it? No, there isn't. It's very, very simple. One, of course, there is the blessings of your parents, of God. And second, you are a good human being. The best thing that one would look in a manager is the empathy with which he works with his people. And then he is able to get the job done by the people. How? He would be able to get the job done by a person when he is able to command those people and the people are ready to follow him. And they are self-guided, inspired, motivated to work for him. As simple as that. Now, going forward, while we were working in this corporate ladder, and I have worked at stages where I was a trainee and then I reached to the next level and to the next level, and I started my career as a technical person. So my initial job used to be go door to door, shop to shop, company to company, repairing computers. And that was a time when the PC was just starting. And I started my career when there used to be only one floppy drive, 5.25 inch in a PC. And the second thing that came up was a big technical advancement having one hard disk of 10 megabytes. And that's how we have seen things grooming, but I was doing repairing. Now that's how it was. But then, as I said, we have chances at every point in time. And I got a chance to move from the technical to the sales and marketing position. So that gave me another opportunity. Now that's what I'm again trying to tell you. Life gives you opportunity at every nook and corner. You just have to keep your eyes and ears open. You have to have an open mind. You have to take challenges to take up those opportunities. I switched. That is also a very interesting story. And I think because of my relationship with ITS, I'm sharing something which I would not have shared publicly anywhere. My boss came up telling me that you are a good engineer, you go and do repairs, but I think I have observed one thing. When you go to a place while repairing computers, you get more of a business than doing the technical job. Why can't you change your profile to a sales guy where you can get more business for us? And there would be many people who would be working for you. I was very, very scared because nobody wants to come out of their comfort zone. Anyways, my boss inspired. I used to love him. He offered me this position and I changed. And then I again started from zero level for being a salesman. And that's how the technology kept on changing. And I kept on learning. Being a salesman, I kept on grooming myself because I had to do the storytelling to go back and sell people about the new technology that they would be seeing. And I have seen those days when email started coming and then the internet world started coming and then there was a big hype of multimedia. And to cut the story short, today I'm running an organization which works like a system integrator, supporting the Yamaha's expectation worldwide. So we are a global capability center. And when I started this company, I was the first employee. And then we started building one practices after other on different technologies in order to meet the expectation of present as well as future for Yamaha. In this due course of time, I learned one more thing. Gradual learning is one which is very, very important. So actually what we have seen in our industry, and I am not very sure how many of you would join an IT industry, but then my industry is something very unique. I work from Yamaha, you can see from my t-shirt. And my company is an IT subsidiary of Yamaha. So I can see both the things. I operate from the factory and I have been sitting in the factory, seeing manufacturing and the entire plethora of a manufacturing company, which has supply chain management, which has corporate, which has sales, which has post-sales, distribution, customer relationship, and the entire gamut of a business. We kept learning. But in IT, I realized one more thing. Every 3 to 5 years, the old practices used to close down. Here is something very interesting that I want to share with you. When a practice used to close down because we moved on with the technology, we realized that the life of technology is very short, but the life of human being is longer enough. I have worked for 30 years. I have another 8 to 10 years to work. And I don't think today I can imagine about my own retirement, but then imagine how many times I would have to keep changing myself and forget about myself. Remember those people who have been working with me for the last 30 years and technical people, they would have re-skilled themselves. So my second advice to all of you would be always be prepared. This education, which is academia, is one part of it. Once you will enter the corporate world, the expectation would be that you continue to be a good learner. Otherwise, what happens when one technology closes down, you migrate to a new one. There are people who are willing to reskill. There are people who do not want to come out of their comfort zone. There are people who might be complacent, thinking that I am working on the top notch and I don't need to change. But somehow the cheese moves out, it finishes, and then you have to look for a new shore. So reskilling is another part that you should always be ready. Now, when you are thinking about your life in the corporate world, let me share a few things. First of all, I'm sitting in a lockdown. When I'm looking myself in my own screen frame, I see my bedroom. Here is a TV, here is a dressing table. I'm sitting in my bedroom and working. I haven't seen it because I never lived at one place for more than a week because I had to travel. My whole organization supports 25 to 30 countries of Yamaha. Even if I would have met my customers of 2 countries in a month, I still meet them after 1 year. So I keep traveling month on month, but today I'm under a lockdown. So practically what I'm trying to tell you that you guys are very, very lucky because you are seeing something which happens once in a century. There would always be a time when we will remember there was something called as pre-COVID, which you have seen. There is something called as during COVID, which we are living through. And of course, there is light at the end of the tunnel. There would be something called as post-COVID, which you will thrive. And you might have a lot of things thinking, the fear in yourself, what happens to the world after COVID? Will the economy recover? I have a very simple answer for it. We are human beings. We are very resilient by nature. We will come out of it. We have always come out of it. It is only that we have to have faith and confidence in ourselves that we will come out of it. And each one of you will come out of it. Now, what is happening in this COVID era and what is happening in the post-COVID era? It's a very big learning opportunity for you. Has the industry completely shut down? No.
Yeah.
Actually, if I share about even my experience of what is happening in Yamaha, it is something very, very interesting. The July sales of this month has been more than the July sales of 2019. I don't know if I should call it a V shape of recovery, but I can only give you that positive hope that the post-COVID era isn't going to be that bad. Yes, what will happen in the post-COVID era and what I can share with my own experience, the technology will change, means the way of working will change, means the perception of people will change, their way of living will change. And if I'm saying all these things, there could be many, many examples that you would see. Let me share one small example of Yamaha like conglomerate. In the month of February, there was a survey happening, how many countries of Yamaha uses online mode for selling motorcycles? We never thought something like motorcycle can be sold online. In the month of March, while COVID was on its operation and India was thinking about lockdown, I was on my board meeting. And with my board meeting, I was discussing with the director of sales who said, I have told Japan, we don't need online sales. It may not happen in India, at least not in the next decade. I returned back in March. To cut the story short, on 18th of April, just 1 month later, I am being asked by people, can we build an e-commerce site in the next 1 month? I said, 1 month building an e-commerce platform is not an easy job. But today, we have an e-commerce portal. And during this last 3 months, many such subsidiaries of Yamaha have built e-commerce facilities for selling online motorcycle, servicing people, and connecting with the customers in a completely different manner, contactless and whatever that you might be listening to. Look at the way that things are changing. That means it comes to another stage of your thinking. Post-COVID era, when you will look for a job for yourself, there would be many new areas on which you would be working because we have already started working. I think Shikha mentioned that we are working on emerging technologies, and there are many areas that I can share with you, and I can give you a couple of examples now, which you may not have thought about Yamaha. Because when you think about Yamaha, you or your elders in the family would say RX 100 motorcycle, or Yamaha is a motorcycle company. So motorcycle story, you know, share another story. There is a helicopter division in Yamaha because we are masters of building strong engines, powerful engines. So we have a helicopter division. This has been there for the last 30 years, spraying insecticides on this farm in Japan, New Zealand, Australia, US, and the developed economies. Now, the same helicopter division is doing another kind of a job, that is loading a special kind of a camera on the helicopter, flying over the forest, taking the images, sending the images back to India. And the job is to count the number of trees, they count the species of the trees, they count the wood mass of the tree, and send this data back to the forest department in Japan. Now, this is a business that we are doing. Now, while doing this, if you see what has actually changed, we are using deep learning, machine learning, artificial intelligence in order to know what is the species, how much of wood that this tree is going to give, what is the right time when this tree should be plucked, and so on. Similarly, we are working on another division, which is autonomous guided vehicles running into the farm, helping in picking, plucking, packing of any harvest in the agriculture segment. Now, what I'm trying to say, look at the huge opportunities that is going to come up in future. So do you think that there would be a lack of opportunity post this? No. You will have ample of opportunities. You just have to be prepared for it. Now, you might be thinking it is not so easy. I remember I was taking an interview, and this was the final round of the interview. And one student, he walked into my room with a file in his hand. Normally people do walk into the room with their testimonials and their certificates and whatever courses that they would have done. This guy, he moved into my room with a file which had 80 links. He had done 80 projects during his education on different things, which he said, this is the job that I have done. These are the 80 list URLs on which I have worked. And he named most of the emerging technologies on which he had worked. Now, do you think I would have said no to this guy? Actually, what happened, he did not join my company. And I still remember him. Now, what I'm trying to share with you is what is corporate looking from the academia. There would be a lot of debate about the gap between the academia and the corporate and how we are trying to bridge and how there has to be a participation between the institutions, academia, and the corporate for training the students. And we participate from both sides. You come to my institute, we give you a summer vacation, internship, and whatnot. And then you go back to the academia, complete your course, look for a career. This debate will continue happening. But the practical things are, today is a world where knowledge is abundant. There used to be a world when we used to have only Brahmins knowing the knowledge. And today is a world when Google is the Brahman and he is open, and you can go and connect and find out any information that you would be looking for. Before this session, I was just thinking that what is happening during this COVID, and something very, I know, not a very good data, but I just read the latest COVID report. There are almost 22 million people who have got infected. And we are almost at the verge of losing 7,75,000 people worldwide. This is the kind of the epidemic, that crisis that we are living through. It is going to change the world in an entire different way. But so many industries will thrive. The healthcare, the service industry, will thrive during this season. The insurance sector will thrive during this season. The essential services, the online services will thrive during the season. There is going to be a huge opportunity that is going to come back to you in future. I think I have almost spoken to 20 minutes now, and I can go on and on, but